Hey everybody, this is the part two to the corrections for the study guide for Math 7 fall semester. So we're just going to go through it. This is basically just making sure you know how to simplify algebraic expressions and then evaluate them for given values of variables. So in this particular case, the first step would be to combine like terms. Remember, a like term is going to be any term that has the same variable to the same degree. So in this case, you got 7x and then negative 3x. The way I like to think about this is all of these terms here are including the sign on the left, and then they're all being added together. So for me, it's like 7x plus 6, take away 3x plus 5. You keep the sign on the left, and then it's all being added together. That's really what's happening here. Okay, so it's the same as saying 7x plus positive 6 plus negative 3x plus positive 5. I don't always write that. I just keep the sign on the left, and then in my mind add it all together. So in this case, you got 7x's plus negative 3x's is how many x's? That's 4x's. And then you've got 6 units plus positive 5 units is how many units? That's plus 11 units. And so that is your final answer in terms of the simplest form. So box that. That is your simplest form, 4x plus 11. Once you have the simplest form, you're going to evaluate when x is equal to negative 3. So that means replace x with negative 3 and figure out what it's worth. So this would be 4 times the quantity of x, negative 3, plus 11. So what is 4 times negative 3? Remember, we multiply before we add or subtract. So 4 times negative 3 is going to be negative 12. And negative 12 plus 11, who's going to win, negative or positive? Negative by how much? 1. So the correct answer here is negative 1. And that's what you put into the answer document. You put negative 1. This is the simplest form. Just box it on the paper so I can give you credit for that if you did it. Over here, you're going to do the same thing. So this one has distribution involved. So remember, when you're distributing, you're going to multiply through the parentheses by the outside factor. So this is 5 groups of 4x's and 3 units. So that's 5 groups of 4x and 5 groups of 3 units. So I like to say taste the rainbow for that, right? Make sure you multiply through all the terms inside the parentheses by the outside factor. So 5 times 4x is going to be 20x's. 5 times positive 3 is going to be positive 15. Once you break the values out of the parentheses, you can then combine the terms. So I'm just going to bring these down, minus 7x and then plus 11. And then I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I do. I think of this as 20x plus positive 15 plus negative 7x plus positive 11. So I just keep all the signs with it on the left, and then I add them all together. Okay, so that's the way I'm thinking about it. And so in my mind, I'm doing that little thing right there, right? 20x plus positive 15 plus negative 7x plus positive 11. And so when we do that, we're going to combine our like terms. We get 20x's plus negative 7x's. Who's going to win? Positive by how much? 13. So that's 13x's. And then you've got your units or your constants. You're going to have, in this case, let me do it in a different color. Let's do it in red. You got your 15 units and your 11 units being added together. That's going to be positive 26 units. So really it's 13x plus 26. And that is your simplest form. So bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Now, once we've got that, we're going to replace the x with negative 3. So we can evaluate this when x is negative 3. So that'd be 13 times the quantity of x plus 26. Well, 13 times negative 3 is going to be negative 39. So this is going to be negative 39 plus 26. And in case you're wondering how I got negative 39 in my head, this is how I did it. I did negative 3 times 10 is negative 30. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Negative 30 plus negative 9 is going to be negative 39. And so now you've got negative 39 plus 26. Who's going to win, positive or negative? The answer is going to be negative. And by how much? What's 39 take away 26? 13. So the answer in this case should be negative 13. Box your answer. This is what you put into the answer document. Okay. On the next one, it's the same basic process, except this time you're distributing a negative. So just make sure that you're being very careful when you distribute that negative to include the sign when you distribute it. This is the opposite of 6 groups of 3x minus 4. So you got to multiply through by that negative 6, not just the 6. So when you do that, you're going to get your values here. Negative 6 times 3x is negative 18x's. Negative 6 times negative 4 is positive 24. And then plus 6 and then minus 2x. Once again, to remind you guys, you're going to basically think of this as negative 18x plus 24 plus 6 minus 2x. So anyways, all this is being added together. All right. So what we have here is negative 18x plus 24 plus positive 6 plus negative 2x. And then, like I said, I like to combine my like terms. like terms are the same variable to the same degree. So put your x's together, put your units together. So in this case is negative 18x plus negative 2x is how many x's? That's going to be negative 20x. Remember, when you're adding two negatives, they stay negative and you add them up. And then for the other situation here, you got plus 24 and plus 6. What's 24 plus 6? Positive 30. So ultimately, your simplest form in this problem is going to be negative 20x plus 30. And then you're going to evaluate. And you're going to evaluate for when x is negative 3. So now you're going to replace the x with negative 3 and see what this whole thing is worth. Multiply before you add or subtract. So negative 20 times negative 3 is positive 60. Remember, negative times negative is positive, and 20 times 3 is 60. And then 60 plus 30 is, of course, 90. So this is going to be 90 as your value. That's what you put in the answer document, if you had one. So that's it. That's how you do the problems. Hope that helped.